Good morning, children of God. Take a deep breath. This was kind of fun, particularly after having met with Dale yesterday. We'll talk more about that later. Life reveals its riches to the one who has learned to read between the lines of invisibility. It says visibility there too, which works. Invisibility being is the line I'm reading as opposed to never mind. What it says, that's what I was after. I'm having a challenge reading this morning. Anybody want to borrow my glasses? No. Did we switch and nobody told us? Just checking. When in doubt, be authentic, right? Even if it doesn't make any sense at all. What does make sense, however, is you turn the button on first, because if it's not on, it doesn't work at all. Oh, there we go. When it does work, then what we can do is stand joined together and sing in the silence. Love is here. Peace is here. Truth is here. God is here. And we take a moment and acknowledge His presence moving in and through us. O loving Father, Mother God, this day we choose to be open. We choose to be receptive and obedient to your instruction and to your guidance. This day we are grateful for the opportunity to come together, to worship, to sing, and to pray in the name, in the nature, in the power of the Christ. Amen.
Today's word is inner peace, and this morning Sally will read our daily word for us.
Good morning, everyone. Inner peace. As I enter the silence, I experience peace. Unity co-founder Charles Fillmore allotted the time in the silence as follows. The highest form of prayer we know is quietly entering the inner chamber within the soul, shutting the door to the external thoughts of daily life and seeking conscious union with God. The silence is stillness I find within my own being when I take these prayerful steps. The more I practice turning my attention inward and resting in the Spirit, the more peace I feel throughout my day. Today I give myself the gift of peace. A few moments in the silence bring peace to my mind and to my heart and help me maintain peaceful relationships. I renew my vow to spend time each day in silent prayer and open myself to an abundance of peace. And from Psalm 119, 165, great peace have those who love your law. Nothing can make them stumble.
Thank you, Sally. Now we're going to stand as we sing our song of the month, He is Lord.
Be
Thank you.
seated.
Please be seated.
Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. No. I was reminded that you have an opportunity with every breath, so breathe, to enter into your secret place. And it doesn't matter whether you're walking, driving, just sitting here ready to enter a time of prayer and meditation. At each breath, you have that opportunity. So, one of the opportunities we will take is to make sure that we use the power of our word to express the truth of it. And so, having taken these words into our heart, gently now, easily, we move to that place in consciousness that is our secret place, our inner closet. And as we enter in, we close the door on those thoughts and feelings of what I should have done. I close the door on those thoughts and feelings of what I have yet to do this day, and for one holy moment, I rest. Having quieted my body, I now quiet my mind. I breathe and I listen. For in my prayers, I have learned to ask, here in the silence, in the stillness, answers come. This day, perhaps, a word, peace, order. A phrase, a song. Regardless of how it shows up for you this day, choose to reach out and claim these gifts knowing they have come to you wrapped in love. This day, I say yes, and as I accept these gifts, I immerse myself in them. And in doing so, each and every cell of my being responds. In this moment, I am whole and free. In this moment, I remember I am a beloved child of God. This day, to those I hold in prayer, to those with whom I pray, I send the thought, you are a beloved child of God. In this moment, know, regardless of appearance, I am there. Embracing this thought, I remember I am a channel through which good flows into my world. I open that channel wide this day. So that that which has been freely given may freely flow from me, through me, into this place, touching each and every one of God's children. Joining with other thought of like mind, this flow continues from this place into our community, wherever that might be this day. Touching, healing, blessing. In this moment, I am blessed. In gratitude, I keep this flow moving through me, from me, across our city, across our state, touching each and every one of God's children. I am blessed. From me, through me, across our country, touching, healing, blessing each and every one of God's children, so that we know, regardless of appearance, I am there. Good is there. Peace is there. And in this knowing, I am blessed. I continue to be a blessing from me, through me, around our world, across our universe, touching, healing. And remembering that in truth and in spirit, we are never separate one from the other. Somewhere, somewhen, someone is saying, thank you, thank you, thank you, for in this moment, that which has moved from you, through you, is gratefully received, and that gratitude swells up and returns to you. The circle of life whole and complete. I live in it. I breathe in it and rest for one holy moment. Knowing there is more yet for me to do this day, holding to this experience we have shared, I bring my attention back to this place, to this now. And from my heart, I join with you and pray as Jesus, our elder brother, has taught us when he said, "As for you, pray therefore in this manner." Num, 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 num. Somebody asked me once, why do you go to church all the time? I thought it was a good question. And the answer is really very simple for me. This is a time where I am willing to sit with others of like mind to recharge, regenerate, rejuvenate, re-energize. I said that twice, but I'll say it again, re-energize. Little Energizer bunny there. Put that work back in. Because I live in a world that seems to be hectic. Is that a good word? Hectic. As opposed to chaotic, as opposed to, never mind. There's a whole list, isn't there? All the stuff that's going on in our world, all the stuff that shows out from there. And it's very easy in living day to day in it to forget who you are and to forget that I need to look past it to see the truth. Now, it doesn't mean it didn't occur. This is one of the areas that's really kind of tough, and you've got to play with it a little bit to really get it clear in your head. Everything that shows up in your world is your experience. Thank you. There is no denial there. Okay? The denial comes here. The circumstance has no power over me unless I allow it. And sometimes I allow it because I didn't know any better. Unto the generations. In other words, those things that your parents taught you that weren't true, that were taught by their parents that weren't true, that were taught by ad infinitum, unto the generations. They believed it to be true, and it's the experience through which they lived, but it isn't. So we're in the process of taking those things that we hold on to that aren't true and letting them go and replacing them with the truth we know. That is learning how to live in the realm of spirit. The challenge is this isn't separate. We're living in the realm of spirit right here, right now. It is that thought process that we're going through, where I'm holding to the truth of who I am, where I'm learning how to express that truth of me. Beginning to believe what we have been taught as the truth of me. I am a beloved child of God. Together? I am a beloved child of God. That's the truth of you. Regardless of appearance. And we all have a list that says how that can't be so. If you only saw my list, you'd know why God was busy today when I asked for prayers. Isn't that how it feels sometimes? But it's only a temporary list. It's the list that I can bring out one thought at a time, one feeling at a time, one emotion at a time, make a shift, a change, open myself up, bring in the truth of who I am, breathe, and start anew. One of the things that Dale said yesterday, Dale Hoffman was here, and I'm just so thankful that he had the opportunity to get up. He'll be back, by the way, for those of you who couldn't make it yesterday. He said one of the challenges that we have in our world is that we misunderstand our myths. Isn't that kind of a fun statement? We misunderstand our myths. Because there's a lot of things that we don't know. We just take them on faith and say, oh yeah, this is the truth as I know it. And then I misunderstand the story because it fits for me, and then I live from there. So we're in the process of learning how to make that shift to come back and say, no, what I want to do is get in touch with the truth of who I am, and I need to look at my story and bring it in alignment with my truth. Who am I? I am a beloved child of God. Breathe together. I am a beloved child of God. Now, live from there. Much easier said than done. Lots and lots of practice. Beginning from that size up. And you will go through periods, we all do, where you question what you believe. Is this really the truth of me? And it often shows up, this question, in a time of challenge. And we ask the question, where's God in this? Because I can't see, where I am right now, I can't see it. That I can't, by the way, it's on my list of scratch-offs. Take the I can't, put it behind you. Yes, you can. Comma, however, I may need to stretch a little bit to get there. So stretch, it's okay. You're designed, have you ever seen how designed you are to stretch? And I can prove it. Ladies, quick question. In your closet right now, thin summer clothes, heavy, thick winter clothes, yes? Different sizes? Or are they all twos? That would be a no, right? Me too, I have different size pants. We all go through it. Why? Because this is elastic. Is that right? It is. We have the opportunity to form it, and we do, based on what? Our words and our feelings, our thoughts, feelings, words, our actions, and that's what shows up in our world, and we get to choose what that looks like. And this is so well designed that it stretches with you and shrinks back down. Now, if we could only get this part to do the same thing, to stretch and accept things in a new light and in a new way, and take that which is not the truth of me, meaning it no longer serves me, and set it aside. Set it aside. I don't need to carry it with me anymore. It doesn't mean it didn't happen. It doesn't mean it's not part of my experience. It is. But what it does mean is I change how I think and feel about it so that the power of the circumstance is returned to me. Not that it ever left, but that's what I thought, yes? So I want to bring that power home so that I can use it in a different way. Perhaps to walk on water. Perhaps to turn water into wine. Perhaps to heal the sick, raise the dead. Don't know, do we? The things that we can do when we choose to live in the realm of spirit. See, Jesus figured it out, and for the most part practiced it. And this is where sometimes we have disagreements with others about the Prince of Peace. Okay? And I'll give you Rob's. And Rob's goes something like this. I know that Jesus of Nazareth was a human being. And the reason I know that is because each time he committed what he believed to be an error, he immediately went apart to pray. When he made a judgment, he went apart to pray. But he made the judgment first. And a lot of people say, oh no, Jesus would never do it. You need to read the woe unto yous. That's what he was doing, yes? He was saying, think about what your thoughts are. Right? But he realized that wasn't the truth of him nor the truth of the others. I need to get back in alignment. And that's when he went apart to pray. So where is the realm of spirit? It is in that prayer. It is in that silence. Fillmore talked about it here, about the highest form of prayer is to move into the silence. Great question that came up yesterday is when confronted with a circumstance that shows up, what's the very best thing you can do? And the answer for me was breathe, which allows me to move right into that place of silence. Then I'm not like this. I'm like this, and I can move forward in the truth I know. And I still go apart to pray because I know I messed it up somewhere. It's a human experience, and it's okay. So I'm giving myself permission not to get it right, but at the same time I remember the process, and the process is to learn how to get back to that still point. And it doesn't matter how active your day is. See, I think this is sometimes where we get confused. I can reach that, and I hear this frequently, I can get that still point when I'm quiet, I'm sitting, I'm relaxed, the music is nice, and Steve's playing, and we breathe, and we're all together. Then I can get that. But can you get it in a traffic jam? Yes. With all the horns blaring. Yes. And all the people suggesting you're number one. In an inappropriate manner. From your personal perspective. Can you do it in there? Yes. Sure. Because you're choosing how you're going to look at your world in that moment. So I don't get caught up in that. I go right to my still point, knowing that each and every other child of God is exactly where they need to be in the moment, which is really kind of hard when one of them hits your car. How come he wasn't, or she as the case may be, wasn't paying attention? And when you hear yourself saying that, grab a mirror and go, how come he or she wasn't paying attention? I was paying attention? Oh, yes, you were. You're exactly where you needed to be. Why? What needs to happen in that moment? I tell this story not very often, but every now and again. My grandmother lived in Boise, Idaho, before she moved back to California. And she was going into a shopping mall area at the same time an 18-wheeler believed that they should have that space. She told me that her thought was, oh my God. Not, oh my God. Oh my God. Surrounded herself with the truth of who she was. Okay? She had a minor scratch on the left front fender of her car. That 18-wheeler had the whole right front fender demolished. Does it make any sense that that would happen? Not on the surface. Why did the event occur? So that my grandmother could tell me the story so that I could tell you? That's one of the reasons. Now, I suspect there are a lot of other ripples in that pond, but that's one of them. so that you can hear that there are others just like you that have lived through circumstances just like you with the protection of who they are, just like you. And closer than 2,000 years ago. Although that could be a story from back then too. Who knows? The protection is, for sure. But in that moment, the other point of that story for me and hopefully for you is that in that moment, in time and in space for her, she was 100% in the realm of spirit. I am surrounded by my truth. I am one. I'm a beloved child of God. Lo, I am with you always. Of what shall you fear? See, in all the other stories that got to that point, this didn't happen overnight, by the way. This is a lady that practiced a lot, okay? A lot, and for which I am extremely grateful because she prayed for me every day while I was overseas. 91st. Read it every day with her daily word. For both me and my brother. Okay? So she believed it, and that's the other part of this, is that she believed in expressing the truth of who she was. Now, if you knew her, you would know there were other human traits that required her from time to time to go aside in prayer. She's the only woman I ever met in my entire life that can make the word dear sound like a swear word. Well, dear, you know, that one. You go, oh, gee, please don't say that. I'd rather walk over coals in my bare feet than hear that one, right? We all have something like that in our experience. And I've talked to her about it before she made her transition. And that's one of the things she said is, yeah, that was another one of my time to go aside in prayer because I was falling back into a huge area of judgment. And it's hard when you love somebody and when you watch what you see them going in a direction that's counter to the truth as you understand it. And it's hard for you to keep silent sometimes. And we don't. But that then requires us, or allows us, not require, scratch that word, allows us, gives us the opportunity right then when that occurs to move back in to the truth of who we are, to move back in to the realm of spirit, to move back into the silence, to breathe. Again. And with that centering, I allow myself the opportunity to express the truth. And the truth looks like this. I love you. Together? I love you. Breathe. I bless you. Together? I bless you. Breathe. I appreciate you. Together? I appreciate you. Breathe. In this moment, I behold the Christ. Together? I behold the Christ.
Thank you for listening. Please feel free to pass this message along to your friends and family. You can obtain additional audio tapes or CDs by visiting our website or by calling our office at 541-772-6902. We invite you to join us in prayer. We know that prayer works, and now you can send your prayer request to our prayer team here at Christ Unity Church by using the form on our website. The activities, programs, and services of this ministry are presented on a love offering basis. All gifts, regardless of size, are gratefully accepted. You may participate either by sending your gift to Christ Unity Church, 540 North Holly Street, Medford, Oregon, 97501, or by visiting us on the internet at www.unitymedford.org.